to the phones now, where we have Chantel on the line, and it's a really interesting story that she's going to share with us, and very unfortunate. She reached out to me on the social media, and so there's currently a ban on evictions, a moratorium on evictions in play because we're in the PCOR 1 public health emergency, right? But Chantel, good morning. Thank you for joining us, by the way.
Hi, good morning.
So you were telling me that you were evicted back in June, and the eviction moratorium was also in effect in June.
Yes.
I guess we'll just start at the beginning, Chantel. Just that's always a great place to start. Tell us the what, where, when, why, how you were evicted back in June.
Okay, back in May, I had received a notice of non-renewal of my lease from my landlord, stating that they didn't want to renew my lease, which was a surprise to me and my family because they're actually my family also, and we had never talked about the renewal not being renewed. So when we got that letter, and I was laid off, so I got really nervous and stressed out about having to move and not having the means to rent another place. So I reached out to a lot of resources to get information on what to do. But when I got that information, there's what had transpired from the beginning and people I talked to. The first person that I talked to, I actually reached out to the congressman because I had read that he had passed or he had secured funds for people like me that would be going through something like this and for rapid rehousing. So I started looking into that, but then as I talked to people from different departments, they told me to talk to my landlord and let her know that there is no evictions to be placed due to we're in a public health emergency. So after I talked to her and I told her that, she had said that a non-renewal of lease has nothing to do with eviction. So me being that I did not have that knowledge of anything regarding this, me and my family had just packed up and nowhere to go, but ended up staying in a hotel, and up to this day, we are still in a hotel. So that's where I'm at now. I had called every resource. I have looked at the AGs and everything, and it's just very frustrating for me right now. I wanted to get out. Excuse me?
You called the AG's office? Did you speak with anybody?
Yes, I had contacted the AG's office because I was told to file a complaint against my landlord regarding the eviction. So I had done that. Initially, I wasn't going to do it because they are my family. So what had brought this situation for me to file a complaint is I had gone to another situation where I did find a place, and I had put a $500 deposit to hold the place because it wasn't going to be ready until August 4th. So when August 4th came, this landlord that I had made the deposit to, I guess decided that they did not want to move forward due to I wasn't able to pay the rest of the balance due to because I received unemployment, but at that time, I guess there was an issue with receiving or people getting their money because there was like a fraud issue. So I asked her if she can please be patient. I will be getting it, and then I can make that payment and start moving in. But she said no, and then I was like, okay. Then I need my refund back, and then she decided that no, it's non-refundable. So that's what made me call the AG's office, and I filed a complaint against that issue. But then I had spoken to Benjamin Paholke, which he is the Assistant Attorney General, I believe. Mm-hmm. And when he had asked me what made me look for a place, and I told him what had happened when I got evicted, so he is the one that pursued and told me that we have to do this because they did break the law. So that's how this complaint was filed. So I did file, and then I was following up every other day for months, and then I finally got an answer just last month saying that they cannot represent me due to it is out of their jurisdiction because I am out of the unit. So now I'm at this situation where I don't know where to go, who to talk to. So that's come I wanted to get it out there, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there that has been evicted, but because they probably did go to these people that they got the answers I did, that they just got discouraged and gave up. But I can't give up because my family.
Well, it sounds like you've just been getting a bunch of months of runaround.
Yes.
I'm sorry, they told you that they can't pursue this because you moved out?
Yeah, because I guess I had moved and I'm out of the unit. But if I was still in the unit, the AG Benjamin said that they are mediators, and if I was still in the unit, they can go ahead and talk to the landlord. You know, they'll be the middle person now, where they would kind of talk to them and prevent me from getting evicted. But that's not what was told to me when I was still in the unit. When I had called, they had told me when I called the AGs, I didn't speak to Benjamin Polky yet. I spoke to, I think it was, I guess the clerk or something there, and they had told me that because my eviction date is coming up, that even if I was to file the complaint that day, they're not going to be able to get to it by the date I'm supposed to be evicted. So for me just to talk to my landlord and let them know that I can't be evicted. But even when I did talk to the landlord, she said that it had nothing to do with it. Nothing. Non-renewal and eviction is different. And then I was told later on that it is an eviction. You're told to vacate the premises on a set date, so you are being evicted. So now I'm not. Now I don't know what to do.
You have kids, Chantel?
Yes, I do. Well, actually, I have 4, and they're all adults. My youngest is 19, but I am a grandma of 2.
But do you feel like your landlord is using the non-renewal of your lease as a way to kind of get around the eviction ban?
Yes, because when they gave me the notice, that was in May. I guess this was the first time there was a date put out there where this public health emergency will be lifted, which will be on June 30th. The date of my move out was set for June 30th. So I assumed, and I was just thinking that they thought if they put June 30th, they're not going to get in trouble because that's the date of me moving out. Supposedly the public health emergency would be lifted. That's what I was assuming.
Did your landlord give you an eviction notice?
No, I just got a notice of non-renewal and a notice to vacate. There was no other documents or anything given to me prior to that.
Okay, so you did get a notice to vacate. And this never went to court? There was never any court order?
No.
Ordering that you be evicted?
Nothing.
And the AG's office, once again, because I'm just trying to understand, the AG's office said that they could not help you or pursue the complaint that you filed with their office because you, on your own, moved out.
Because I moved out.
Following the notice to vacate.
Yeah, yes.
And they don't plan on taking any sort of action against this landlord, period.
No. Well, actually, Benjamin Poholke had sent me a letter attaching the executive order and a list, probably like 6 lawyers that I can call to ask if they would take my case and take my landlord to court. I had called each and every one of them, and I had gotten responses like he represents landlords and it's conflict of interest. They're not able to help me. Other ones would say they're not able to take any cases right now. And there was this one, the last one I called, that's the one that I got a lot of information on what my rights were as a U.S. citizen and how the AG is supposed to help me and represent me in this matter, because also I was violated. There was a law that was broken, and he doesn't understand why they're letting me go out there to find a private lawyer, which I know I can't afford a private lawyer.
Right.
And so he gave me some advice and told me what to do. So I followed that and called everybody that he told me to call, but I still got the same answers. There's even what had transpired from when I called that lawyer. I had called 311 to ask who do I speak to in regards to filing a report against a landlord that has evicted a tenant. I was transferred to emergency dispatch, which I had spoken to Lieutenant Danis, I believe, and he had told me that this is a civil matter and they do not intervene or take care of anything regarding eviction. So I would have to go to court. So after he said that, I had asked him, so if there was a law broken and a victim was, I'm the victim. I was violated, and for that, I cannot call the police department or file a report if that was broken. I mean, so that doesn't really make sense to me because a law was broken. Mm-hmm. I'm the victim. I want someone to help me, but he said, well, that's what he knows. But maybe you can get help from this person. Here's this number. So I called that number. I spoke to Lieutenant Yu. He did not know nothing about, he was just in the same boat as me. And then he said, okay, maybe you can call this number. This is public health. I spoke to Lawrence Alam. I told him my situation, and I can hear he was flipping through so much papers, and he was trying to find, I guess, procedures on what to tell me or, what happens or what I need to do. And there was nothing. So he just advised me, for him, he thinks I should just call the Joint Information Center and ask them. So that's what I did. I called 311, pushed option 8, and I asked for Nick Brookley answered. Right. And I told him, and then he told me to send him all my documents and everything that is regarding to this eviction, and he is going to send it to the governor's office and have the governor's office call me. Still, I have not received a call. I followed up yesterday, got nothing back yet.
When did you talk to Nick? When did you call 311?
I talked to Nick on this was last week. This was on a Wednesday.
Who's your landlord?
It's the Fison, Ganya Heights. It's more than one. Actually, it's a brothers, and then the main one that I was dealing with was my uncle, which he's in the state, and then the uncle that's here had just recently taking over the rental, and I'm dealing with him and his wife now, or was dealing with them prior to me being evicted.
What do you feel is the remedy for you, Chantel?
Really, I just feel that I just want to get some news where there's a light at the end of this tunnel here, where I can get what is entitled to my family for going through this hardship, and justice on a landlord that had evicted me. I mean, they broke the law. Why aren't there any consequences? I'm going through this hardship with my family, and they're well off. They had a tenant move in 3 days after I had moved out, which that was like hurtful to me also. I mean, being that that's my family too, so that just adds more on top of.
Well, you know what they say about family.
Yeah, I'm learning that now.
Yeah, I mean it's very sad that we put out these pronouncements and these bans, and there just seems to be little to no follow up in the enforcement of them.
Yes, and I'm thinking an executive order is placed, and there's even consequences stated on this thing, and then when a person like me tries to get the help, I mean, this is what happens, and I'm just confused right now on what is exactly like my rights, my family's rights. You know, I'm just, now that unemployment too is going to be ending. I've been applying everywhere to get a job as soon as possible, but it's just not happening right now. I'm not going to be having any income coming in anymore, and staying at a hotel. I mean, we found the cheapest because I went to online booking, which you get a big discount, and that's how we've been actually keeping a roof over our head for already going 5 months.
Wow. And you've been using your unemployment money to.
Yes. Mhm. Since the day we left, the day we moved out, that's what I've been using. And I had told my landlord that I am, that when I do get my unemployment, I'm going to pay the I guess it was the 3 months that was not paid due to the whole public health emergency, and I will even pay 2-3 months more on top of that. But even after saying that, they were like, there was just a lot of confusion too. It was a whole circus actually for me, back and forth, not getting any response back. Then a day before we were to leave, one of my landlords, my uncle, had came and was like, "Oh, I noticed you guys were moving. What's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, I've gotten a notice saying that we had to leave." It looked like he didn't know or wasn't aware that we were leaving, and he told me to call his wife and tried to do that. Called, didn't answer. Then I emailed her, so she replied and said, "Well, since you're moving out already, we'll just move on with the move, with you being, to vacate the premises." I was like, I was just done at that point. Like, I didn't even want to keep trying to call her or try and tell her, I have nowhere to go. I just said, okay, we're just gonna leave. The next day we left. We were out of there. I even have the time we moved out and everything. I jotted down every single thing. So,
Chantel, are you going to be homeless come the end of the month?
probably. And then even with that, they're telling me to call that there's Salvation Army is doing rapid rehousing. But the thing is, I had did that when I was still in the unit trying to get that help. And because of everything that I was going through at that time, I did go to my appointment. I had pending papers, but it was already close to the time I had to leave. The day that we were leaving, Marina Tarpley, I believe her name is, she had called me to follow up. And I had told her that, yes, I'm still currently getting my paperwork together that is pending for my application. And she said that, I was supposed to turn that in like 2 days ago, and she didn't need to make this follow-up call. She could have just, or she didn't need to make this follow-up call to check if I still needed the help. And then I asked her, well, I'm really sorry, but I'm, going through this eviction and having to move, and my documents aren't ready yet, but are you able to help me? I am going to be leaving this place like in a couple of hours, and I'm going to have nowhere to go. And she said, no, we can't help you until you turn in your stuff. was like, okay, then, thank you. That was it.
Who did you call at Adeloop?
At Salvation Army?
No, Adeloop. You said that Nick from 311 told you to call Adeloop. Who did you call at Adeloop?
Oh, no, I didn't call. He had told me to email him all my documents, and he would be the one to get in contact with the governor's office and explain my situation and have them call me.
Well, we have the lieutenant governor, actually. LT, we're going to bring you on. I know he's listening here. And let me just, first of all, thanks for joining us again, LT. I know that you were paying tribute to Santa Maria Comelin. Chantel was evicted back in June, and it seems like she's definitely done all the legwork in calling the AG's office, calling GPD, 311. Can't seem to find any answers, but I guess last time she spoke to 311, Nick Lee up there had said that he was going to forward all of her information and documents over to Adeloop to maybe run it up to the governor's office level. But we have Lieutenant Governor Josh here on the line, Chantel.
Okay.
LT?
Hi, good morning. I missed a whole bunch of it, so can you bring me up to speed?
Chantel, can you hear Lieutenant Governor?
Oh, yes, I can.
Okay, go ahead. Talk to him.
Okay, I was evicted. I was given a notice back in May, and then a notice to vacate June 30th, no later than 5 o'clock. Before I moved out, I had called all the resources I could and got, advice and numbers and people to call to get the help. But like I was explaining, what transpired up to this day, I got to no help regarding this. The AGs had taken my complaint, and but the outcome was that I would have to find a private lawyer and bring it to court. And even when I called all those lawyers, none of them were able to take my case due to reasons that they had. And so I called other resources and was led to the last one where I called the 311 and spoke to Nick. And he said he was going to forward my documents and everything to the governor's office and have them call me. And maybe they can help me there, but I still haven't gotten a call. It's been 5 months since I've been evicted. Long story short.
So, Chris, I'm having a hard time hearing. There's the AGs. So what is? I really missed. What was the request pending? I'm lost.
She filed a complaint to the Attorney General's office because she was issued a notice to vacate her place in Agana Heights, and so she had vacated. But the AG's office had also told her, well, here's a list of attorneys that you can call to take legal action, but those attorneys said they had conflicts of interest. And then the AG's office further informed her that, well, there's nothing we can do. We can't investigate this complaint because you moved out. And so she's...
The complaint was about her personal residence?
No. Her landlord, it was against her landlord that issued her a notice to vacate.
In other words, there's an eviction moratorium.
Right. And that's exactly why she's concerned, because even at the end of the month when PUA stops, she is not going to be able to find a place to stay, and she might be homeless because she hasn't been able to get any help.
Chantal, if I could get her name and phone number, can you message it to me, Chris?
Sure, I can.
So that we can give her a call today and kind of piece this together.
Right on. I'll do that, LT.
Yeah, give it to me.
Yeah.
And Chantel, somebody will call you within the hour.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chantel. We're going to let you go. We got some catching up with LT real quick, but definitely appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, and keep us posted on how our linking of you and the Lieutenant Governor works out for you, okay?
Thank you so much, Chris and Sabrina. You have a good day.
You too, Chantel. Hey, LT.
Thank you, Chantel.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Just